to a special Brewery Showcase episode of
Brutal Battle.
Yeah, so that is Mr. Kyle Norman, who people know pops on once or twice a year.
Depending on when we get together.
Yeah, and I always hope for more, but, it ends up being what it is. So this truly is I know I always say like special Brewery Showcase episode of, but this truly is a special one for two reasons. One, Kyle Norman's on it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so actually three reasons. Yeah. One, Kyle Norman's on it. Two, Kyle Norman did all the prep work for it and provided the beers. So that's very special for me personally.
He has no clue what it is.
And that's the third component. I don't even know what the brewery is yet. I see 5 beers lined up in front of me in glasses, so I don't know what the beers are, but I have no idea what it is. So what I'm going to do off the bat is make 3 guesses at what I think the brewery could be, just knowing Kyle. And then we'll find out if I'm right. He'll tell us immediately what the brewery is, and then he'll give us all the info. We'll taste the beers, and we'll definitely have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So, also, 2 things just to let people know with the audio. One, it's probably more echoey because we're at the beach and it's not my house, so I can't really control that. So actually 3 things. The second thing is I may sound kind of stuffy. For some reason at the beach, my allergies are worse this time around than at home, which usually it's the opposite, but I don't know. So sorry about that. And then the other thing is people may be popping in and out because they're being at the beach, got to come go to the bathroom. So you might hear stuff in the background depending, but I might be able to cut some out. We'll see. But let's get to it. My guesses.
All right, let's hear them.
So my primary guess is Tired Hands.
Tired Hands. Now, the reason why he guesses Tired Hands is because they have their Dudley Direct that ships to places in Pennsylvania now. Yeah. That is a wonderful guess. It is not Dudley Direct. It is not Tired Hands.
Okay. So, but Dudley Direct is kind of like it's their shipping thing. Micro distributor in a sense.
Yeah. I don't know why they do that, because even another guess that he's going to have. Well, no. Levante.
Oh yeah, no,
because even theirs has their Mercury shipping or whatever. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's some way for them to get around a law, or
possible.
If it is some sort of like their own distribution thing that they're going to try to distribute other breweries, or I don't know why they have the different names.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it is not Tired Hands though. Sorry.
Okay, then my other 2 guesses were New Trail.
Okay,
and Dancing Gnome.
2 great guesses. Dancing Gnome, it is not.
Okay.
It is not Dancing Gnome because I gave you those beers so that you could try them on your own. And Tired Hands, it is not Tired Hands either. All 3 of your guesses were incorrect this time.
No Tired Hands, no New Trail, no Dancing Gnome. Okay.
Correct. So, you want to know what it is then?
Yes.
All right. So, a couple weeks ago, I get a text message from my buddy Matt, and he's like, hey, DA's up in Massachusetts. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So DA's are my calculus teacher at school, and texted him back. He's like, I want a couple things. He's like, but Norm's going to want some stuff too. So
yeah.
He texted me and I told him, just get me whatever. So all these beers that you see are courtesy of my calculus teacher at school, and they are from Treehouse Brewing, sir.
When you said Massachusetts, I started searching in my head, and I was like, I have a feeling this could be Treehouse based off the Massachusetts thing.
Yep.
That's pretty exciting.
I know I'm really excited for it, and I have purposely not drank any of these yet because I knew we were going to do this episode.
Awesome.
For 2 reasons. Number 1, I didn't want to try them before so I could give like honest opinions as we're doing this. And number 2, I didn't want to tip you off to what it was.
Yeah.
Because if I started checking in Treehouse stuff from on Untapped, you would definitely would have been like, it might be Treehouse too.
Actually, I don't watch Untapped super closely, so you may have been okay. But yeah, I appreciate the covert way you went about things, and I'm like very excited now that I have 5 Treehouse beers in front of me.
And they're all not just hazy, crazy juice bombs.
It looks like 3 of them are.
3 of them are going to be.
And 2 of them are. One of them's dark.
Yeah, one of them's stout. Yeah.
And the other one looks like maybe a lager, pilsner or something. I don't know.
So, let's get into the first beer so you can try a little bit of beer, and then I'll give you some background on Treehouse.
Yeah, man.
So the first beer is called Trail Magic. It is their German-style Pilsner. It comes in at 5.2% ABV.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, normally I'm not a huge Pilsner guy, but I know Carlin is, so that's why I was like, I got to make sure to bring this. So what they have on their website is it's another foray into crispy, refreshing lagers. Trail Magic pours a brilliant yellow in the glass with a puffy white head, which I totally agree with. I mean, it is a yellow, very yellowy Pilsner, and that head, when I poured it, was pretty fluffy white. Lots of little tiny bubbles, and was definitely really, really white, like a cloud.
It looks like there's kind of like a slight haze to it, but I don't know if it's like a chill haze.
I think it's a chill haze.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like a Pils.
Yeah. So, and then they said, noble hops mingle with clean, cracker-like malt base, resulting in a most refreshing beverage. A bit of spice with a soft but dry finish, providing balance, making Trail Magic hard to put down. Clean and crispy, just the way we like them. A beer that takes the edge off of these hot summer days. Which is good for today, because it's like supposed to be high 80s today or something like that. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, so let's give this a try. Like I said, I've never had a Pilsner from Treehouse.
No, me neither.
All I've ever had from Treehouse are the juice bombs.
I will tell you, speaking of breweries that are known for, hazy IPAs, Trillium, when we were up at Trillium, I know we talked about it on the podcast, they had a line of like pilot batches of a bunch of Pilsners, and they were really good.
Nice.
So
this one smells like a Pilsner, man. Yeah. You can smell that bready, Pilsnery malt.
I see what you're saying about like the spice. Mm-hmm. Like there is like a little bit of an earthy spice character to it.
Yeah.
Which makes me think like noble hops.
Yeah, did it say? Yeah, it said noble hops.
Oh, it did?
Yep,
yeah,
noble hops mingle with a clean, cracker-like malt base. It smells like a Pilsner to me, man.
Clean, crisp. Mm-hmm. Definitely that Pilsner character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Super clean.
Yeah. And I am glad that it's a German-style Pilsner, not the Czech-style Pilsner. Because the Czech-style Pilsners get a little funky for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Whereas the Germans are a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to drink. For me, anyway. I know some people prefer Czech, but I prefer the German Pils.
So, I will say this. It's not my favorite Pilsner I've ever had, but it is a good Pilsner. Mm-hmm. It's nice. The problem is, people know, I've talked about this on the podcast, I'm like in love with Union Brewing's Skipjack Pilsner, which they categorize as a Bohemian Pilsner. I don't know the difference there, but
no clue.
Theirs is so, like, it's light, it's refreshing, but it's got like a ton of flavor, and the body is more than you typically get with your like easy Pilsner.
Yeah. This one is a little lighter.
Yeah, this is definitely on the lighter side. So, Skipjack being my favorite Pilsner, the problem is I kind of just subconsciously compare every Pilsner to Skipjack.
Yeah. Or Pony Pils. Like, that's another great Pilsner.
Pony's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this, I mean, like you say, it's a great beer. Yeah. And it really would be great for a hot summer day. Like, take this down.
I like it.
To the beach or to the boardwalk where it is, almost 90. And just sit there and sip on it, and that'd be great. Yeah. Or great after yard work beer or something like that.
Yeah, it's easy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I could see some people who are into Pilsners being very happy with this beer, especially if they've not had Skipjack before. And, I would drink more of this. Well, I mean, I will drink more of this. That's good.
Yeah. All right, so a little background on some Treehouse for you here. So Treehouse was founded in 2011 by Dean Rohan, Nate Lanier, Lanier, and Damien Goudreau. Started in Brimfield, Massachusetts, then moved to Monson to a family farm after a zoning dispute.
Oh,
so apparently, their original place where they were actually going to start brewing from, there was some sort of zoning dispute and they couldn't figure it out, so they ended up moving the whole operation up to a family farm, and that's where it kind of opened and kind of took off.
Yeah, because pictures I've seen of the current facility looks like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, yeah, so there's actually 3 facilities now, which I'll get to.
Gosh. Yeah, I didn't know that. I just knew about the really big one.
Right, so we're getting there. So in 2014, they expanded the brewery 6 times its original size to produce 900 gallons of beer at a time. So that original brewery in Monson, they expanded it 6 times to be able to brew tons and tons more beer. Now, that was their original facility. Now that, like I said, they have 3. So Monson, which is the original, has been churning away and amassing a stockpile of barrel-aged creations that will emerge sporadically as they mature from a lengthy slumber. So, The original one is now kind of like a barrel house, it sounds like, and they're just putting stuff away and kind of releasing it little by little. I know that the last one, the number 5 that we have here, they did produce some barrel-aged versions of that.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's probably what they have hiding away there. So after that, after talking about the first brewery,
There is more of each of these, correct?
Yes, there is.
So I can just finish the... Okay.
If you want to. You can.
Well, I'll leave just a little bit for now because if I want to... Because the ranking at the end, I might have to go backwards.
That's why I left a little bit. So, number 2.
Okay.
In your glass is a beer called 7.
I've not heard of this.
7 is a double IPA at 8.6% ABV. And the descriptions that I'm reading you are the descriptions that they gave me on the website. So we'll see if it matches or not. Or do you want to try it and then I'll read the description?
Don't do the flavor notes.
Well, how about we try it?
Yeah,
Give
let's
our
do
flavor
that.
notes and then I'll read what
I want to guess on these.
Okay.
It looks like...
Oh, that smell.
It looks like, as people would say,
orange juice.
Dat juice, brah. Or dat juice, breh.
Yeah. Did you just call me a brazier?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, people know what hazy IPAs look like, that's what it is. You can't see through it. It just looks like juicy. It looks like pineapple juice, kind of.
Yeah. So, and it smells like a juice bomb. Like, holy crap.
Yeah. That smell is amazing.
Orange and mango and just tons and tons of fruit.
And I guess that's one of the things I kind of have to say right now is that I know from time to time I'll rail against the New England style IPA, the hazy IPAs, and just kind of say, it's just not personally for me typically. Although in certain instances when people do it really well, I really like it. But I'll be damned if the nose on hazy IPAs are not some of the best noses on beers out there.
They're amazing.
And this is one of those examples. Yeah. It's just like citrus, a little tropicality, maybe a little bit of pine in there. Slight at the end.
I would say a little bit of pine. But I mean, with the hops, you're not always going to get just citrus. So a little bit of pine. I can't say it smells yeasty, but
it smells yeasty.
I get like citrus, and like you say, that little bit of pine at the end, that little spicy pine or something.
It smells really good. Though.
Yeah. Now I am a big fan of the New England style IPAs. I really enjoy the big juice bombs with the oats and stuff like that.
I cannot blame you for it at all.
So what's it taste like?
It tastes good. I mean, it tastes like it smells, basically.
I do get more of the pine in the taste, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. And it's more juicy. Up front than you would assume, because on the nose, you're just getting it mainly at the end, so I would assume that it would just be like a slight little touch on the end of it. But it's pretty sustained throughout. It's like a mix of citrus and pine together. And actually maybe a little more on the pine than the citrus.
Yeah, a little bit. And you can definitely tell it's a double IPA, because right at the tip of your tongue, you get a little bit of that astringency. Yep. And then just pine and just citrus and just, it's nice.
What's the ABV on this? It tastes like 7.5.
8.6.
8 point. Okay.
So it's so it's a little bigger.
It's a little. I mean, it's a little thicker than I thought it would be, which I guess makes sense for being imperial.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a slight bit chewy.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm like fine. Like I like kind of chewy, hoppy beers. Yeah. So
and a lot of times they'll use like oats in these big New England IPAs, and those oats always give it that kind of increased mouthfeel.
It's that from the lipids?
It's from the proteins.
The proteins.
Yeah, the proteins and stuff that are in the oats. Yeah, the lipids would be fats, and they would kill the head.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, it's the proteins that help to
coagulate
things. It's not a good word, but
I get confused from time to time between what the proteins do versus what the lipids do in beers. I need to revisit reading. By the way, I did read Charlie Papazian's home brewing book.
Yeah.
It's been a few years, but I don't brew. But I just figured I should read it just to know.
I'm reading a book. It's called Designing Great Craft Beers or something like that right now.
Nice.
And it's focusing a lot on just like what everything does and what everything is and how to, hit target ABVs and target colors and all sorts of stuff. So
sweet.
It's a really cool book. Even if, I do suck at brewing, it's still fun to read and fun to know about.
Everyone who brews has sucked at brewing at some point, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, I sucked. I did one batch and I sucked and I just quit.
Yeah.
You keep going.
Yeah.
Admirable.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of like the, the Little League games where, somebody's winning 8-0. They're not quite 10-run ruled yet. Mm-hmm. I'm the nothing. Like, I'm not quite 10-run ruled yet. I'm still in the game, but just barely.
Not yet slaughtered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The ump hasn't called the game yet, so. All right, so 7. So we're super excited to share this singular milestone marking beer with you. 7 is a Treehouse Double IPA brewed in celebration of our 7th anniversary.
Makes sense.
It utilizes heavy hot side and cold side doses of Warrior, Citra, Galaxy, and Amarillo, with an oat and dextrin malt heavy base beer to create a thick double IPA with insane notes of pineapple, passion fruit, orange creamsicle, melon soda, and pink Bubblicious.
Yeah, I didn't get all that.
I didn't get all of that, but
the Bubblicious,
some of it I definitely did. No, I didn't get gum.
The pineapple, yeah, I see the pineapple. What do you say, orange creamsicle? I'm not so sure about that. Like the orange aspect of that, sure, but it's not like lactose-y or vanilla-y or anything. So no,
and a little bit of melon. I would say a little bit of melon in there too.
Yeah, but I took another sip. I can see that.
Yeah. So it has a rich mouthfeel and tight carbonation that is both gentle and pleasing to feel on the tongue. This beer is a cornucopia of fruity hop flavors, the likes of which we have never brewed before. Thank you for your continued support and for giving us the opportunity to continue pursuing our passion, which I thought was kind of nice.
Yeah. I like it when breweries put flowery words in there, in a sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a nice little thank you. Cool. Here's our 7-year anniversary beer, which is kind of neat. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about their next brewery that they opened up. Mm-hmm. So the next brewery was opened in 2017 and is internally known as the Juice Machine, and it's their brewery at Carlton, Charlton.
Charlton. Yeah, I don't know how they say it up there.
Yeah.
Charlton, yeah.
Probably. They just kind of slur everything together. Yeah. So, this is our highly capable, state-of-the-art, environmentally supportive facility has been making our acclaimed beer better than ever at a scale for more people than ever to enjoy. This was the second brewery that is a 53,000 square foot brewery and was built at a cost of about $18.5 million. It can produce 60,000 barrels per year. Yeah, so it's a pretty decent sized facility. Yeah,
but here's the thing: they're selling out too, like all the time. Like I've seen the social media posts of people standing in line at this facility, and it sells out.
Oh yeah,
I don't, I won't say that it necessarily sells out every single day because I'm sure that's not the case.
The cans sell out.
Yeah, well, a lot of times, they're selling out.
Yeah, because I know even when DA got me these, he said that they were in line for like an hour and a half. And he said that he still got stuff, but I know he said that they were starting to run low. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm particularly thankful to that individual because standing in line for an hour and a half is not nothing. And I know I've said it on the podcast before, I don't have a desire to stand in line for beer for that long, but I am very thankful to people who will do that on my behalf.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that individual didn't know it would be on my behalf.
Right, but you're benefiting from it.
Yes, definitely. So thank you for your hard work, sir.
Yeah, and actually he went up for a Boston's Red Sox game or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it was him and another couple.
That's cool.
Him and his wife and another couple. And he said that he doesn't care about beer. Like, he bought a case of Bass Ale. And he thought that was, like, top of the line. But, yeah, he said that the friend is what really liked it. And they're like, oh, since we're near Treehouse, let's go. And he said that after 45 minutes in line, he was like, holy shit. He's like,
what is this?
Well, he's like, I'm in for the long haul now. But he said he was not expecting.
It's a commitment.
Right.
Well, so did he try the beers then?
Yes, he did try some.
And is he converted now?
No, he's not.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. He's still old
Give it
school.
time.
Yeah.
Give it time.
I don't think he'll convert, but
but
it's all right. All right, so the next beer it's called Super Treat. And this is also another Imperial IPA.
Looks like it. It looks
exactly
almost exactly the same as 7, but it's a little less hazy.
This one smells more resiny and earthy too. It's not quite as citrusy.
But there is citrus.
Oh yeah, there's definitely citrus. Any of these New England IPAs are going to have a ton of citrus to them.
But I see what you're saying.
I get more resin, earthy, spicy character
slight
out of
spice
this one.
on it.
Yeah.
I got a little mango. to it, actually. Which for me, I know I've said it before, like for me, mango smell and taste is kind of like a nice mixture of citrus and pine.
Yes.
So it's just how that fruit is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I can pick out. It smells delicious.
Yeah.
Low bitterness, as you would expect.
Yeah, and I definitely get some of those spicy characteristics out of it.
Yeah.
Still some good citrus and still some more tropical. A little more towards the end on this one.
This one's nice. There's a lot more pine to it. There's a lot more of a spice character. Like it almost hits you at the end like rye in a sense.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like some flaked rye in there, but
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it is. You want to guess the ABV on
it? It seems like more than 7.
Okay.
Than the beer 7.
Okay. Yeah.
It seems like more than that to me. So you said that one was an 8.6.
That one was an 8.6. Yeah.
So this one would lead me to like a 9.5 based on that.
It is 8.3. It's actually lower.
It's lower. It tastes higher.
Yeah.
Like there's more of a astringency, which actually I would say is probably because of that spice. I think the spice character kind of carries the astringency a little bit more than citrus would.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mouth does kind of confuse it a little bit more for astringency.
At least mine does.
But I think if you go back,
I would taste more.
Focus on the tip of your tongue and breathe out after you take a drink of number 2, and you get that astringency more over 3. The 3 definitely has that spicy character.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, they're both still around the same ABV.
They're very close.
So Super Treat is a riff on Treat, utilizing even larger kettle and dry hop additions applied to a richer, denser base beer than Treat. It is intended to coax sweet hop candy flavors from a blend of citrus-forward American hops paired with our house yeast. Saturated flavors of orange, robust, sweet tangerine, it says lychee, which I don't even know what the hell lychee tastes like, and unfiltered, fresh squeezed orange juice play nicely with a gently carbonated body, leading to a beer that is intensely enjoyable and immensely drinkable. I don't know. Our house yeast provides juicy fruit, gum, and melon overtones throughout. It is a super treat indeed.
I will tell you that lychee, for reference, to me, tastes a little bit like a kind of less robustly flavored sweet pear.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. Yeah, I don't know if I get sweet pear out of that, but
I don't either. But then it's also been a while since I've had lychee. I'm just basing it off my last experience, which was years ago. I'm not in a habit of eating lychee fruit.
Yeah, that's okay.
Or lychee, as some people say.
Oh, really? Is that how
your choice?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm really bad at pronunciations of things, so I don't have a clue. All right, so the last facility that they just opened up is the Farm and Fermentory. Fermentary. But it says ORY, so fermentory. I don't know. Anyway, so Treehouse now owns and operates a 100-acre working farm, ripe with over 60 acres of agriculturally prime soil, grazing pasture for grass-fed cattle, an existing produce and flower program, an appreciable number of heirloom apple trees, and a vast expanse of land to be cultivated and planted for many years to come. They did say on the website that they are doing these heirloom varieties of apples, and they have an orchard there. Mm-hmm. So they are going to start getting into some ciders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask, what are they doing with these things they're growing on this land?
Yeah, they said they're going to do a lot of like fresh pressed ciders, just to like sell at like farmers markets or at their brewery or whatever. But then they said they are going to get into some ciders.
That sounds cool.
The one blog I read said that's what that was their plan anyway.
I would try it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I love ciders and hard ciders. I love them both.
Yeah.
So, yep. A significant portion of the farm will be set aside for a long-term orchard project and planted with fruit-bearing trees and bushes, including but not limited to apples, peaches, pears, plums, cherries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, gooseberries, jostaberries. I don't know what the hell those are either. Black currants, and more to serve both fresh farm stand sales and our eclectic fermentation program. In addition to pursuing a barrel room for the fermentation, conditioning, and fruiting of various beverages, we will be pressing fresh cider to be set aside for fermentation and for fresh, unpasteurized consumption.
So do they have a souring arm of Treehouse yet?
I could not find any information on that.
Because as far as I know, they're only doing, well, as some people in the industry say, clean beers.
Oh, yeah.
It's no like wild fermentation or sour stuff.
Without the bacteria.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I don't know if they did that or
But
not.
I would think based on all that fruit they're growing, that's a prime opportunity.
To start getting into it.
Yeah, to start doing it, because what better thing are you going to do with fruit than make fruited sour beers?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah. And I mean, most of their other beers they do are pretty good. Yeah. So why not try something new, and why not expand a little bit?
Yeah.
But yeah, I could not find anything about them getting into sours, but I'm with you. With all those bushes and trees and fruit that they're going to start growing, it seems like a good logical step.
I mean, Bissell Brothers, mainly just known for hazy IPAs, but do great straight styles. People know that from our wrap-up episode from when we went to Portland. They're getting into sours too. So, you can easily make that step.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
I won't say easily. I'm sure there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, so number 4, this is Very Green. Now, the information that I'm going to give you may not be the same beer.
Okay.
The information on the website just said Very Green, not spelled funny or anything like that. On the can, it says Very GGGREENN. So I'm assuming it's the same beer. They just didn't put the pronunciation out.
Yeah.
Or spell it out like that. So I'm assuming it's the same beer, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So just a little disclaimer that it might be a little bit off. All right, so let's dig into this one. See.
So I do remember when Rebecca and I went to Treehouse and met those random people who were very nice and gave us 2 Treehouse beers, it was Julius and Green.
Yeah.
So this is
Very Green.
A derivation of that?
Correct. This is the double. Yep. Green is just a single, I believe.
I mean, the color doesn't really need to be commented on. It looks like a hazy IPA.
Yeah.
Or double in this sense.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4 are all basically the same colors.
So the nose on this one is lighter than the last 2, I feel.
Yes.
And it's also sweeter.
Yeah.
It smells like a slight bit sugary, but it's like kind of like a nice, like a sugary citrus candy.
Yes. Okay.
It smells good, and I feel like I smell a bit more of a bitterness to this one than the last 2. There's obviously not a lot of bitterness there, but
yeah,
I'll have to see in the flavor. But
it
smells nice.
I hate to say it, but every once in a while with like really hoppy beers, I get a little bit of like a almost soapy smell.
Okay,
and I think I get a little bit of a soapy smell out of this.
Yeah, I could see exactly what you're talking about.
I don't think I'm going to taste soapy, but I think it smells just a little bit like that. But yeah, like you said before, a little sweeter, maybe a little more bitter.
No, it actually does taste a little soapy to me.
Does it?
Yeah, on the finish.
Sometimes those hops, once you get enough of them in, we'll do that once in a while.
Which that's kind of weird, but there's a lot of citrus up front. It's like orangey, but there is also that pine character, which has been in the other 2 as well.
Yeah. I don't get the soapy on the flavor.
Slight spice.
This one is much lighter bodied.
Yeah.
Like it's much easier to drink. It's not as thick. You're right. That our number 2, but the beer 7 was definitely thicker, definitely heavier. This one's a little bit lighter, easier to drink.
I kind of feel like I got some alcohol through my nose after my 3rd sip on that.
Yeah. I don't have the ABV on this one, so I'm not sure.
I'm going to look it up on Untappd and see if they have it there. Because that seems like the most alcoholic one at the moment.
Yeah.
But then again, with my guess on the last one, maybe it's the lowest.
Yeah. I'll be honest, that those 3 double IPAs, they're probably all about the same. It's probably right in that
8.3.
I say it's probably right in that 8.3 to 8.7 mark. So,
but this is a good illustration, to be honest, of perception of alcohol. It's not just about how much alcohol is in there. It's also about the construction of the beer and how you can perceive it.
Yeah.
And it's not just about what is the actual height. Because, I mean, obviously, if you think back to really big beers we've had on this podcast before, there have been times when we're like, that's 15%. It tastes like no more than 10.
Yeah.
And that's a big, big difference.
Yeah.
So
the very green is also pretty drying.
It is.
My tongue's kind of dry from that, which kind of goes along with you saying about perceiving the alcohol more. Because anytime my mouth gets dry like that, I always assume it's a higher ABV beer.
Yeah, and you definitely hit on something with it being as drying as it is. You could probably put this in front of me the way it is without any pretext and say that's a brute IPA. Like someone's take on a brute IPA.
I wouldn't say that.
Because for me, what characterizes my what I taste mainly in brute IPAs is just being super drying.
Yeah, that's the yeast that they use. It should be a brute champagne yeast that they use.
Yeah.
And I know there's some breweries who said that do some shady things.
Yeah.
But like I always think more heavily carbonated. I think a little bit lighter. I don't always get the real drying with brute IPAs, but a lot of times you're right.
Yeah.
Especially because of that yeast, you do get a little bit of drying with it. But
and people do their own hybrids of all sorts of stuff, and we'll just call it something.
Yeah. Well, Dogfish last night, they had a brute grisette rosé something,
which is good.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, Dogfish is always good.
Oh yes.
So very green. This Treehouse Double IPA is created with a massive kettle and dry hop punch of Australian and American hops. It opens in the glass with huge notes of ripe pineapple, pithy citrus, and dank saturated hops. I would agree with most of those. I don't get a ton of pineapple, but definitely that pithy citrus and that dank saturated hops.
I think the dank is a really good call on this one, for sure. That's actually a term I haven't used in describing beers in some time, but I do think that fits it.
Yeah, I'm agreed.
For sure.
I'm agreed. As it warms, it shows its depth and complexity. Sweet bits of malt intermingle with a straight Tropicana juice. It has a soft but pointed bitterness and a rich, velvety mouthfeel. A thick meringue-like head and dense yellow body contributes to a beer that is beautiful as it is delicious. A true one of a kind. So it did have a nice thick white head when I poured it too.
Yeah. As you're giving information and I'm listening, I'm also going through and retasting all four of the first beers here to kind of start getting an order of ranking in my mind.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
That's the problem.
Those hazy New England style IPAs are all going to be very close for me.
Yeah, they're super close.
Yeah. But it does amaze me, though, that even though those are all big New England style hazy IPAs, that they all do taste different. Which is kind of cool. Like there are some similarities because they're the same style, but they all do have their own personality almost.
Yeah. Well,
so
and
it's kind of neat.
And that kind of goes back to what people should be thinking is that, you know, an IPA is not just an IPA.
Yeah.
Like even if it's the same style of IPA, like New England style or West Coast style or whatever, even if people even have the same recipe, it's going to be different.
Yeah,
from brewery to brewery, if for nothing else other than the water they decide to use.
Water's a big factor. Yeah.
I mean,
yeast.
Yeah, all sorts of things.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so a little bit more information here, and then we'll get into the last beer. This is the last bit of information I have. So, Treehouse is highly acclaimed. Untapped has rated them as the 8th best brewery in the United States, and they hold 3 of the top 10 beers on Beer Advocate. Which was kind of cool.
Not surprised.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. So I got onto Beer Advocate. Sure shit. 3 out of the top 10. And I believe it was like 5 out of the top 20 or something like that. And actually, this very green was one of the top 20. Which was kind of cool. And just so everybody knows, yes, there is an actual treehouse at the original brewery. Which is where the name came from. So, another little quick blurb that... pretty much came from their website. Snippets of it came from their website. So Treehouse focuses on quality for their beers. All of their malts are done in the U.S. and kept in humidity and temperature-controlled vaults until it's ready to be used, which I think speaks to why.
Nice.
Part of the reason why they're such a good brewery is because they care for that product the whole way through. From beginning to end.
I know there are breweries, and I know it's probably not a ton of them, breweries out there who will kind of let hops just kind of sit, not refrigerated, and then just be like, oh, we can make this, and they've been sitting there for like a month or something just like that.
Yeah.
and you can taste that in the beer. Like,
Yeah.
you can taste when hops have been degraded.
Yeah.
So it is important if you want to make a really good tasting fresh tasting like IPA or any beer that has decent hopping to it, if you just keep that refrigerated.
Yeah.
So, Plus, if you have a hop fridge, walking in there is great for two reasons. One, cooling off, and two, just smelling all the beautiful hops.
I love that hop fridge smell. I had a bag of hops at home that I didn't ever plan on using. I used a little bit of it in a home brew, and the rest of it, I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Because I didn't want to put any more in the home brew to mess up what I had going. So I just literally put them in my fridge and just let them sit there and just aerate the fridge.
Why not?
So every time I open that fridge, boom, you're in the mood for a good hoppy beer as soon as you open the fridge. It was so nice. Now they've died off, but and I've since gotten rid of them. But
so I think I've said it before, but someone needs to make hop cologne. Someone needs to make hop cologne. Just saying.
Yeah. Or a hop or car freshener.
Yeah.
That might not be
I would
bad.
do that.
That might be a bad idea. Get pulled over and just smell like hops.
As long as there's no alcohol.
That's true. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. I have bought some hop soaps and stuff before.
Yeah, me too.
But they never smell like hops.
No, not really.
Yeah,
it's just like hops were used, but it's not going to smell like hops. It'll soapy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do like that they get all of their malts from the U.S.
Yeah.
As an ag guy, I appreciate that they're buying local. They're at least keeping it within the U.S.
Good point.
So that's kind of cool. I know there's a lot of breweries that use like
local.
Well, like that use like Maris Otter from like England or some sort of that might be the wrong malt, but they'll use like English malts or whatever, and that's fine. And those malts are great, and a lot of times they produce a really nice beer. But just the fact that they're keeping everything, at least in the U.S., is cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And I know even some Pennsylvania breweries, there's a malter in Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
I think.
I didn't know about that.
Crap, I forget what the name of it is. It's like Deer Creek or Deer something. That they will do some malting, and a lot of places get malts from there too, which is neat. Yeah. All right, so because they focus on quality, it is also a reason why they do not distribute widely. Once a beer leaves the brewery, the forces act on that beer to destroy it, and they want to get the best product possible. So that's part of the reason why they don't distribute. Like I said, they care for their product from as soon as they get the ingredients the whole way through till it goes over your lips.
I'm also going to guess that a part of not distributing is they know they can sell their product themselves, therefore more money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And less headache. More money, less headache. There you go.
And less complaining that if a distributor keeps the beer for 6 months and it sits on a shelf, like that's a problem.
Yeah.
But like they say, forces act upon a beer that seek to destroy it, and they want to be able to control as much of that as they can.
Yeah. And that is another aspect of, I know from time to time I'll say that I'm not big on like special beer releases where you have to go to the brewery and stand in line and stuff. I mean, I'm fine that people like doing that. Like if that's your thing, that's cool. But the big positive that I know I don't recognize all that often is what's coming up. Excuse me, what's coming up right now, which is their ability to control the quality of that beer and be like, here, this is super fresh. We kept it
Please drink
in the
it
right
now.
Conditions. Take care of it.
Yeah.
So, that's a big plus.
A lot of times they'll even tell you, don't hold on to this. Drink it. Just drink it.
Correct.
So, yep. All right, so they also try to keep their products as consistent as possible. They're using new techniques and technologies to make this possible. So they're always kind of looking for ways to be able to create their product again and again so that it does taste the same. Yeah. Obviously, since they're still a relatively smaller brewer, they're not going to be able to do that to the scale of like a AB InBev or even like a Sam Adams or anything like that. But they are still updating. They're still innovating. They're still trying to get some new stuff in. So I just thought it was pretty cool.
If you don't keep innovating, you're going to be left behind, especially in the craft beer industry.
Yeah. If you're not moving forward or standing still, you're going to be left behind. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody's going to pass you.
There are a lot of breweries who have gotten stuck in that. And one of them, I think, is about to get saved.
Which one?
Sam Adams.
Oh, yeah, from Dogfish.
Well, Boston Beer. I think that the merge with Dogfish and Boston Beer is going to save Sam Adams, in my opinion.
I think that was a good
choice. A good marriage.
Yeah.
Because
Dogfish is going to give Sam the innovation that they need. Sam's going to give Dogfish some extra distribution.
And cash, maybe.
Some cash, maybe some access to ingredients that they couldn't get.
Yeah.
So who knows? And I think that those two, the one article that I saw said that that's going to give them a little bit more like clout to be able to like save other little breweries too.
Oh yeah,
from like AB InBev.
Yeah.
So instead of joining AB InBev, join us, and we can help you do this, and you're not selling out.
Yeah, kind of like when Oscar Blues bought Cigar City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people heard Cigar City sold, and they're like, and then they're like 2 Oscar Blues, and people were like, oh, thank goodness. Yeah. So hopefully there are more of those moments.
Yeah. All right, you ready for this last one?
I am very ready for this, especially because
this one I believe you're going to like a lot.
It's dark.
Yeah. So this.
Well, I mean, I am always super interested in trying beers that are against the grain of what people believe.
Yeah.
Breweries mainly do.
Yes.
If you talk to people about Treehouse, they're always going to say, "Oh, they do New England IPAs," and that's it. So this excites me.
Yeah. So this one is called Double Shot, which ought to tell you at least a little something about
coffee, espresso specifically.
Guess
maybe
we'll find out, huh? This one is dark as the freaking night. I mean, you hold it up to light, nothing comes through.
Okay, so that head on it,
even
when
the head
you swirl it,
is brown. Yeah,
that is some of the darkest head I've seen on a stout.
Dude, it's like chocolate brown. The head is
it's very brown.
Yeah, it's like the same color as your shirt. Like it's pretty dark.
Which I'm wearing a Founders KBS shirt. So.
It's really, really dark.
Oh my gosh,
what's it smell like?
That nose is so good, dude.
Oh man, that is coffee and chocolate and roast.
Geez. But there's a nice hop character on there too.
There's a little caramel character in that. Like a little caramely character, caramely or toffee or something.
I feel like it smells a little woody as well, like oaky.
I don't get that, but
and I feel like there's a little bit of a like hop character on there. There's a decent bitterness in the nose. There's a little bit of like a pine and citrus together.
I agree with the bitterness.
Low.
But I can't tell if that's coming from the coffee or from a hop.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, it smells beautiful though.
Dude, it smells complex. Like it doesn't smell like just coffee. I hate when I get a beer that's just freaking coffee. Because I don't like coffee, but
I feel like there's a slight soy sauce in there. That one's for Kelly, but it is in this beer. It's a little bit, there's a little chalkiness on the end of the nose too, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you can tell, we're pulling out a lot of different stuff. It's very layered, but the layers don't, like when you smell it, it doesn't stay consistent. It's not like, first you smell this, then you smell this every single time.
It's something different.
Yeah, which always intrigues me with beers. I really like that.
All right, let's give this a try. I'm curious now.
Everything's harmonious in the smell too.
It's sticking to the glass nice too.
Oh, that's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Ooh. You do get a little coffee, but it is well balanced out with malt and with sweet and with actually a little bit of bitter on the end of it too. That is balanced out very nicely in that beer. And I do get some of that caramely that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. There's a slight raisin note on the finish, which I'm assuming is because it's probably on the higher ABV end. There's a little burn in my throat, that's for sure. So this would indicate to me 10 or more on the ABV. It's not.
It is not.
That's possibly problematic.
Yeah. Well, I think it's okay. I think it's appropriate for what it is. Because with this beer, if I didn't have a little bit of that, I'd be a little disappointed.
Okay, this may sound just like really out there and weird, so let me know what you think. Is there a slight cola note in this beer?
Okay. I'll give you that.
It's kind of weird. I don't hate it, but it's weird.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's at that end with that raisiny.
Yes. Yeah.
I kind of like
cola.
Yeah.
The chocolate is very soft, and it's like a milk chocolate. It's not like a dark chocolate. I am getting that soy sauce. There's a lot.
There's a lot going on in this beer.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I got the chocolate more like on that first initial upfront taste. I got a lot of the chocolate. The more I sip at it, the less chocolate I get out of it. But it's still pretty good. I enjoy that.
So ABV-wise, like my perception of the ABV in this, it's not something I can do a lot of. I have to sip it. But body-wise...
it's nice.
And flavor-wise, it's a lot easier than I would think it's going to be. So I think those things kind of balance each other out a little bit to make it relatively easy to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so the double shot is an American stout coming in at 7.6% ABV.
Are you kidding? No, okay.
That's what it said.
Well, that's not good, though. That's a bad thing. No, I mean, I still like the beer, but I'm just saying it's a bad thing that it's that low ABV-wise, and it tastes like it's 10 or more. Because it does. It truly does.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it tastes like 10 or more, but it definitely tastes higher than 7.6. It really does. So
would you give me 9?
I would.
9.
Yeah, I'd say 8 or 9. Yeah. So
it's good though. I like it.
These bottles represent the culmination of a coffee beer project nearly 2 years in the making. Double Shot, our beloved coffee stout, has been refined time and time again to achieve a beer that is both as robust in its base as it is a worthy purveyor of its respective coffee. We experience flavors and aromas of dark chocolate, caramel, there we go.
Yeah, there you
milk
go.
chocolate, which you got hit right on the head. Or milk chocolate covered espresso beans and a hint of citrusy like acid, which you got that too. You got a little bit of the citrus in the smell.
I think that's part of what's happening at the end to make it a little cola-ish.
Maybe
that interacting with all the other flavors.
Yeah. So the mouthfeel is a luxurious with a soft and velvety carbonation, which I would also agree with. It was pretty easy.
Yeah. The mouthfeel is quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It is, in our opinion, the result of what is possible with the careful selection of ingredients paired with attentive brewing execution. We invite you to enjoy this bottle fresh and in our most beloved company. And in your most beloved company. That'd be you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so they do make a couple of variants of this as well. They make double shot with like a whole bunch of other different things in it. Like double shot with vanilla, double shot with whatever. And then Then they also make like a triple shot. So so they do a couple of variations on this coffee stout. So
I like it. I do.
I like it a lot.
For me,
for a coffee beer.
The first few sips of it are kind of confusing, just because there's a lot going on, especially in this setting where we're trying to pick things apart. And that's part of the issue of it being, with all the flavors being so as harmonious as they are in the beer, it's hard to pick them apart when you're trying to do that. So for me, it takes a while to like get into this beer and to like figure it out, and then I can enjoy it. So I like it. It's good. I know you may notice that. Oh, do you have any more information?
Nope, that was it. I wanted to end with the beer.
Okay, because I was going to say you may notice that my cups are in a very weird geometric shape here.
I'm assuming that's your placings.
That's my ordering. So I didn't want to take them out of order because our cups are numbered. So I wanted to be able to refer to the numbers because I don't necessarily remember the names of all of them. Yeah. So I left them in that order, but then moved them forward and backwards to indicate to myself my ranking. So I got my ranking already. And I was working on that while you were doing stuff. So it might take a little bit for you to
so why don't you
get yours figured.
Why don't you go ahead and tell your rankings, and I'll kind of chime in as to what each number was.
Got it. I remember some of them.
Yeah, and that'll give me some time to organize mine.
So
are you starting with your last place or your first place?
Last. I like to go last first.
Okay.
So my last place, my number 5, is the Very Green. That was number 4, right? The Very Green?
Yes, Very Green was number 4.
Still a good beer. I was just, compared to all the other ones, I was less impressed as opposed to all the other stuff. My number 2 is the, what's the Pilsner called? The first one?
That's the Trail Magic.
Trail Magic, that's right. Trail Magic is my number 4. My number 3 is, what was number 2? 7.
Number 2 is 7.
Yep. Okay, yes. So my number 3 is 7, which sounds weird, just 2 numbers. My number 3 is 7. That's nice. I really like that. My number 2 is what was the stout called? I'm sorry, the last one.
Double Shot.
The Double Shot. There you go. Man, my attention is bad. So my number 2 is the Double Shot. Like I said, that's really nice. All the flavors are very well mixed and blended, and so good. And my number 1 is number 3, which is the
Super Treat.
Super Treat. Yeah, I like that a lot. The vibrancy of the flavors in that, how they go together, the lightness of the body, but refreshing and tasty, and it's just hitting me the right way. And I will say that the Super Treat and the Double Shot are very, very close for that one spot.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the Super Treat just inches out the Double Shot.
Yeah.
For me.
All right, so I got mine. So my last is going to be, and keep in mind, last place in this competition is
still good. Quite good.
Still
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
Is going to be the Trail Magic. I'm just not a huge Pilsner person. Like, this one has a real good flavor. It's nice and bready, but still it has that weird, like, Pilsner-y flavor on the end of it that I'm just not a huge fan of. And I got more of it as it warmed up, too. But like I said, I would drink the shit out of this beer, especially on a nice hot day. This is one that I would definitely keep in the fridge with no problems. And I would drink this and enjoy this,
it's good.
In a big can or a little can or wherever. So it is quite good. My number 4 is actually number 4. It's the Very Green.
Yeah.
I'm with you. The Very Green was just a little more astringent than what it maybe should have been. But I still like that beer quite a bit. Number 3 is going to be the Double Shot. And again, I'm just not a huge coffee person. The only reason that beer is even as high as it was is because of just the layer after layer after layer of complexity and flavor in that beer. That's one that I think Kelly's just going to freaking... She's going to chug it.
I think Rebecca's going to enjoy it, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the girls will like that a lot. My number 2 is going to be the Super Treat, and I agree with what you said. It kind of hits everything. Just one right after the other. But my favorite was the 7. The only reason I put the 7 over the Super Treat was because I like the mouthfeel better.
Okay.
I really like that. With a big New England style IPA, I want that nice thick, that nice velvety thick mouthfeel that you get from the oats and from the hops and from the malts and everything all together.
Yeah.
So that's why I put the 7 as my number 1. But all these beers were freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I liked them all. And apparently you did too, because you are out.
Yeah, just about. I'm still gonna finish the double shot here, but
that's not one you can just chug.
No. So something I was thinking about when you brought up the astringency situation with the Very Green, where we felt it's a little bit out of kilter, and like I said, I feel like that is the case with the double shot, even though it still tastes really good. In my opinion, with like hazy IPAs, I feel like with the low bitterness, it increases the potential for things like that to happen, where the astringency can get out of control. Because I feel like bitterness kind of brings mouth perception of astringency in check.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. And even with the Very Green, again, that it's real drying. So I think that does help with that.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help, but it aids in that astringency perception.
That is a good point.
So
I agree.
And I'm not a huge drying out mouth feel fan. So that's part of the reason why Green was, number 4 for me. But still a great beer.
So I just finished all the beers except the double shot, and then I went back to that. And my perception of that citrusy note is more now. I don't know why, but I'm liking the fact that that's increased for me. It's coming off a little orangey, and I like it with that.
You've mentioned it before, those chocolate oranges.
Yeah.
You're right. That's
what
I'm
it's
getting.
kind of that.
But
I like it.
It's not like the orange fruit. It's more of the orange zest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right. It's not
with the bitterness.
It's not the sweet orange. It's like a little bit of bitter orange. Yeah. I'm agreed with that.
So the way it's developing as I continue to sip it is reminding me a bit of the Alchemist's Beelzebub.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like a marriage between hoppy, like real nice hoppy beer and real nice, like serious stout. So anyway,
I say if that double shot was barrel aged, I know you're wearing a KBS shirt, and that's probably why I thought of it, but I would compare it to a KBS, only better. If this was barrel aged, I would drink this over a KBS.
Yeah.
But it's a good beer.
I think the smoothness of the beer
it's
one of the best things.
It's the complexity. I love that complexity. Just every sip is something a little different.
Yeah, it's really good.
So, yep.
Hey, man, thank you. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
It's pretty exciting. I know my buddy Jason Ing, who does the Summer Villain Brewcast. If people I haven't talked about that in a while. People want to hear another cool beer podcast. It's not weekly. It's kind of like whenever they get a chance. Alex Rogers and Jason Ng are friends, and they do a really cool beer podcast called Summer Villain Brewcast because they're in Somerville, Massachusetts. Yeah. So, Jason, when I check into all these beers on Untapped, is probably going to text me and be like, where did you get all that Treehouse? Because he's a big Treehouse fan.
Yeah.
So,
I see why.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm sorry, the name of the person who got these?
We call him DA.
DA.
His name's Donnie.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Okay. Would he want his last name out there?
Donnie Allenbaugh.
Okay.
I don't know if he does or not.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Big shout out.
Everybody just calls him DA. Yeah.
DA.
And Matt for facilitating between me and DA at the time, too. So.
Was that the Matt who was on the podcast before?
No, that's Holt.
This
one's Matt.
Another Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
But thank you guys.
Holt's a bitch.
Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. I really like not having to do a whole lot of work.
And
I like the mystery aspect of it. Getting excited about, like, I got up this morning and I was just like, I don't know what this brewery is necessarily going to be. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then also, I have to admit, though, from Rebecca's perspective, it is not easy to sit here and listen to information when I just want to drink the next beer.
Gives you a whole new appreciation, huh?
Yeah. I'll have to let Rebecca know that I now feel her pain. In a sense.
Yeah.
So, but thank you very much, Kyle. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and the next episode is going to be a fun one.
Yeah,
and people will see why. It's been many years in the making, in a way.
Literally,
and
many years
in the making, in a way, and also many months waiting in another way. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, we were going to do it down in Virginia.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We'll talk more about it later.
Yeah, that's right. But thanks, everyone, for checking it out. Until next time,
keep it brutal.
This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.